Good morning. I would like to make a video to teach French, elementary French, to English speakers, American English. Uh, I've done a little lesson before here and there with my friend to say the basics. For example, uh, personal pronouns. So there's singular pronouns and there's plural pronouns. So it's like in English, that is I, you, he, they, us, we, and they. So in French is je, tu, il, nous, vous, il. Il and elle. So il is he, but elle is he in feminine form. So because in French you have the feminine and the masculine. So for me, I learned English when I was in Florida as a child, and when I came back, I was 8 years old, and I started elementary school in third grade. My French level was very low, and so whenever there was a dictée, so if they like a spelling bee, I would have a 0 on 20 because I make mistakes everywhere. So even the sounds, because the sounds in English, how you write it in English when it sounds like that, it's completely different than French. There's syllables that when you, for example, there's sounds that, for example, I'm thinking oiseau. Oiseau is like a basic word, means bird, but the way that you write it is OISEAU. So the two letters O and I makes the sound wa, and then S is not even S. It's a Z. It's Z. So wa z o O, E A U makes the sound O. So there, it's not even O. It's EAU. So there's there's words like that constantly. So for me, learning the conjugating verbs, and then learning vocabulary and learning grammar. So so sentence structure, basic sentence. For example, adjective qualificative means a description. Means if you could be a color, could be if you're describing the subject. So you can start with the verb to be, which is être in French, or the verb to have, which is avoir. That's how I learned it. So those are the first two verbs that you can conjugate with the personal pronouns. So je is me, tu is you, il is they, elle is feminine they, nous it's us, vous it's you in plural form, and il, elle au pluriel is the they, plural, masculine and feminine. So with that you can use you could use the verb to love, which is aimer. So it's je suis, tu. This is where être. Je suis, tu es, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont, elles sont. And aimer would be j'aime, tu aimes, ils aiment, nous aimons, vous aimez, ils aiment. Et in how to conjugate it at the end when it's a verb, you don't add just the s. There's different ways of conjugating. So in with je, for example, you don't put a s at the end. I don't know why. Sometimes you do. So it's really something to memorize, and there's always exceptions. And the ending of plural form. For example, in the verb to have, so j'ai, tu as, and with tu would add a s at the end of a. So ils ont, and it's not on, it's ont. So you add it's not a s, you add a t at the end. Il and nous, the ending is ons. Vous is ez. It's not er, but z. And it would finish with ent, ent usually, because you cannot put the s at the end of a verb unless it's participe passé, I think. So yeah, the participe passé, that's a complicated one because if it's placed after the verb, then it's conjugated with the subject, I think, something like that. I always had problems with that, but sometimes you, like for example, the subject, if it's a feminine plural, you would add es at the end of the participe passé. So because there's many times, so you can have the present when you speak, and you also have the future and the past. So these are different ways of conjugating a verb. And then there's the subject. If you're using a sentence, for example, les garçons sont allés à l'école. This means the boys went to school. So garçon is boy, and if it's les, this means it's plural. So you add s at garçon. So the boys went to school. Went is aller. Sont allés à l'école. L'école is a school. So you conjugate the verb with the subject, which is les garçons sont. That means it's masculine plural. Aller, that's participe passé, aller, je crois, I think. À l'école. À l'école. And a is you need the accent. So it's an accent. It's a little line on top of the a to say that it's location. Because if you use a, you can have two. You have the accent a, which is the location, and you have the regular a. So I would recommend, that's how I learned it, is to learn a vocabulary and challenge yourself to write it without mistake for spelling. Simple vocabulary could be just the house, the birds, the boy, the girl, the woman, the man, the owl, the stone, just etc. You just learn a bunch of vocabulary and learn to say it in English. Learn to say it in French. To write it in French, so would be le gars, un gars, une fille, la femme, le, and then you have the masculine and you have the feminine, because it could be un chat, for example. That's a cat, But the difference is in French, you have it's either masculine or feminine, and sometimes you just don't know. Like a woman, that's easy because that's feminine, but some words you have to guess because it's not clear. Is it feminine? For example, cat, le chat. It's not la chat or une chat. It's un chat. So it's masculine. It's just something that you need to memorize, and then you get to the point where okay, if it sounds good, it's good. So that's how I learned it. And then grammar, then you make short sentences with the personal pronoun, the verb, the subject, maybe an adjective to describe it, like the greenhouse would be la maison verte. It's not even a complete sentence, it's just describing what the house is like. So means verte is mean it's a color, and it's green, and it's adjective that is describing the object, which is the house. So it's like that. And the house is it a feminine or is it a masculine word? It's a masculine word because oh no, it's a feminine word because if you say it with un ou une, it could be la ou le, un ou une. Une spelled U-N-E, un spelled U-N. Le, L-I, la, L-A. And then there's accents that you don't have in English. When you spell E, you have often an accent on the E that is going to be pronounced A, like E, comme like je suis allé. The sound E can be spelled with E-R, or it can be spelled with E accent aigu. Accent aigu is a little line on your E that is in the direction of like going up, in the direction of forward. There's E accent grave, which is the opposite, is the other, and that's pronounced instead of A, it's E. That's the sound. Like élève, they have actually two accents in that word, which means student. A accent like that, L A E E with accent like that, A le A le. And also E, it's also you can also make that sound with A and I together, like prenez et c'est AI, AI. So it, and then there's an accent circonflexe, which is like a little hat on top of the E. And there's a cédille with a C. So sometimes you would require to put like garçon, for example, at the C, you have to have a little line under the C, which is a cédille. So I think with the spelling, with the punctuation, is pretty much the same in English and French. So capital letters on names, and like you start the sentence da 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 da, comma, virgule, comma is a virgule, and then da 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 da, the other section of the phrase. So for me, when I learned it was we have vowels and consonants. I think vowels is a, e, I, o, u, a, e, I, I, O, U. Those are the vowels. The rest are the consonants. And yeah, the letters O and U together is U. Yeah. So if I go to the history of French, I think it's because the reason why I learned French is because first of all, my family speaks French, Quebec French, and our ancestors were originally from France, and we moved to Canada in 400 years ago, and so my ancestors have been speaking French from France, and there's also laws in Quebec that we have to learn French. That's the only language that we can. That's the way that the school system works. Because the thing is uh, we were under the rule of England, and after the conquest of Quebec, and we had to submit to that system, and but we could keep our language and cultures from France, from New France, Nouvelle France. So, but there's a lot of expressions that are unique to I don't know, to our family when you just grow up and hear a lot of expressions and make your ear like in English. My teacher would recommend that we watch TV in English, and I think I could recommend that you watch TV in French, just to be able to hear the words and maybe you don't understand anything, but maybe you can catch a little word here and there. If you, I'm sure it's really accessible to go on Google and get vocabulary and simple words. So that's it. I think I did the best that I could with that, and maybe I'll do another video eventually to complete or add on to this. Thank you. And if you have any recommendations for future videos, I would be interested and excited to do that. Thank you. Bye. Bonne journée means have a good day.